Untuk informasi lebih lengkap dan berita terkait, klik link deskripsi. Dan jangan lupa juga untuk download aplikasi CNBC Indonesia yang tersedia di Play Store dan juga App Store. Jangan lupa subscribe ya. Kembali lagi di Prime Words dan masih bersama saya tentunya Your Excellency, Ambassador of Germany for Indonesia, Your Excellency Lepel. Talking about new capital city for Indonesia, and then we know from Germany we can learn about move the capital city in 1991 from Bonn to Berlin in 1991. So what's the experience can Germany share with Indonesia, which is now preparing for move their capital city?
Yeah, well, we are following the developments around the new capital, Nusantara, with great interest. I think the move from Bonn to Berlin does not compare one-on-one, because when the move happened, or it was decided, Bonn was a much smaller town than Berlin. Berlin was already a bustling capital. Berlin had been the capital of the Eastern German GDR. So it was moving from a small city to a big city. I think with the capital movement of Indonesia, it's the other way around. At least in the beginning, Nusantara will be a lot smaller than Jakarta. On the other hand, there are some aspects which are, of course, similar, like overcoming resistance or sad feelings of people who worked for the government, who had to move and who had lived all their lives in Bonn, who had bought houses, who really felt that this was a serious hardship. So pragmatic solutions were found for these people. Nobody was forced to move. Actually, even now, 30 years after this decision was made, quite a few ministries have retained big offices and amazing numbers of officials who are still located in Bonn, who sometimes travel to Berlin just in order to avoid any hardships for these people. So I think that's an aspect maybe where we can share experience, where it would be interesting to see how Indonesia also deals with this. When the move from Bonn to Berlin happened, as I said, there was already a city. So the government had to scout for buildings that were suitable for ministries, whereas in Nusantara, these things can be built from scrap, which opens some amazing perspectives for building a city that is sustainable, convenient, inclusive, well-planned, convenient for the people. Whereas in Berlin, it pretty much became a mosaic of the old and the new, and it looks a bit messy, but that also presents part of its charm and why people find it interesting. So in that sense, maybe it does not compare, but I think starting from nothing presents a good chance to do something amazing.
Mm-hmm. And then we see how can the new capital city become an instrument to move the economic at large? Isn't just the economic of the area?
Actually, in Berlin, with the movement to Berlin, I would say it did not have a huge effect for the German economy as such. It did have some benefits for the region, because quite a few people who work in Berlin commute from outlying areas, but I would hesitate to say that it had a significant national impact as such. On the other hand, Bonn had been very concerned that it would shrink economically a lot, which could also be avoided because of the gradual strategy, and also because the government decided to try and encourage location of companies and also of the United Nations campus to Bonn. So Bonn is nowadays hosting quite a number of UN institutions, So that's another aspect, although I would assume that Jakarta doesn't really have to worry about that too much because it's so mighty in its own size. I think one important aspect with the new capital will, of course, be how it is dealing with the people and with the environmental resources that are already there. And that, of course, is also an issue that we will watch with great interest.
But if we see the plan from Indonesia government is to build a building, have a sustainable and then green building, so maybe German becomes one of a part of this plan, you think?
I think if it really works out that way, people find it very attractive. And Germany prides itself of having city planners who are quite good. So I think with German experience in city planning and in sustainable and green city planning, hopefully there will be a lot of scope for cooperation.
Indonesia and Germany bilateral relationship. We know Indonesia and Germany will celebrate 70 years diplomatic relationship. So what's your hope for our 70 years diplomatic relationship?
Well, I hope that on the one hand, this anniversary celebration will help both countries to learn a lot more about each other. Because I find it really strange. Germany is the biggest country within the European Union. Indonesia is by far the biggest country in ASEAN. We have many things in common, but if one asks people in Germany what they know about Indonesia, or people in Indonesia what they know about Germany, it's not really that much. We don't have that much in terms of people-to-people contact or of really knowing about each other beyond some cliches, like that Germany produces cars and used to have decent football players. And so that's maybe not enough, because there is more to each other's societies than people know. And such an anniversary is a good opportunity to showcase each other. There is another fantastic coincidence that in this anniversary year, Indonesia has the chairmanship of the G20 and Germany has the chairmanship of the G7. And we have a lot of overlap on the issues we are dealing with in those formats. We are all focusing a lot of on economic recovery, and on digitalization. And I hope that cooperating on all those very technical but also very tangible issues will also help the two countries to develop a better understanding and a better cooperation, so that we can build on this also after the anniversary year is over.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for your time today. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in other time. Demikian wawancara saya dalam Prime Words di CNBC Indonesia bersama dengan Duta Besar Jerman untuk Indonesia. CNBC Indonesia, Beyond Business.